Go. Sucio.Talk, hanging out in Middletown, Rhode Island, in the middle of a fucking vineyard. Who knew it? Who knew that Rhode Island had vineyards? But I'm sitting here with Chef Andy Texeira. Is that how you say the name?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Very cool. How are you, Chef?
I'm doing well. How are you, brother?
Fucking good, man. You gave me a little tour. I saw the farm. I saw the winery, the brewery. I mean, you guys are going all out here, all types of outlets.
Hammer down, man. We're just trying to, cook for our audience. People are into beer and wine and, locally food, source food. So that's what we're doing.
I hear you. How long you been here?
I've been here 6 seasons, 5.5 full years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. So, do you live in Middletown? Or
I live in Taunton, Mass.
Okay.
We're taking it back, so to speak. That's where I was born.
Okay. Well, hell yeah. Let's take it all the way back. So you were born in Taunton.
Yep.
What did your parents do?
So my mother was in sales.
Okay.
She's been with the same company, I think, now for like 35 years. She works for a dental company. She's like the Cisco of the dental world.
Okay.
Sells teeth, her warehouse is full of teeth.
Gotcha.
And then, for labs, and then they sell everything that a dentist would need, all the dental supplies. She works for a company doing that. And my dad's a cook. My dad, I'm a 4th-generation chef.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah. My dad was a baker when I was a kid.
Heard.
And then opened his own place and became, started his own, diner, restaurant, deli. Did that for a lot of years. That's where I kind of came up, and then he moved on, and he still owns 2 restaurants in New Hampshire.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no
shout
shit.
out to Mojo's.
Yeah,
in
all
New
right.
Hampshire.
Fuck
Yeah,
baby.
and he's still, he's still grinding away. He's 67 years old, and still every now and again he'll call me, go work breakfast this morning, threw down, kicked everybody's ass. He's just still grinding it out.
Cooking hard for sure.
Hard, yeah. Hard.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. So, you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have a full sister, same mother, same father. My sister Jessica, who's in the industry. She is a regional manager for a pizza chain.
Okay.
And then I have a half brother who is kind of estranged, and then I have a younger sister who we sees, and she's in retail, and she's like a split sister. My father had 2 more kids after the divorce, and so there's 4 of us.
Yeah. Okay, dope. So you said you grew up restaurant, basically. So were you eating at the restaurant? Were you always there?
Yeah, 5 years old was the first time I was in a kitchen getting paid.
Yeah.
I would go, my dad worked at this place called Art's Bakery, and it was actually my bus stop as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Did
he
you
was
plan this, Dad?
Yeah, so I was never getting away.
Yeah,
And Dad baked, and he also delivered. So I'd be 5, and he'd take me in, and I'd get on a 5-gallon bucket and I'd tie knot rolls.
Yeah.
But I'd pull a 10-hour day at 5 years old, it was just ingrained. Or I'd go on deliveries and he would be delivering to all the restaurants in that region.
Yeah.
So I was in back doors of the kitchen all the time.
Gotcha.
And then you knew the guys there. So even as a kid, even without my dad, I'd be walking by restaurants. I'd pop in the back door of a kitchen. It was nothing. They'd be like, "Hey, Andy, what's going on?" And I'd walk through. There was this one place, Benjamin's. It was in my neighborhood. It was the fine dining restaurant of Taunton, huge factory restaurant. I can remember going in there as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, and then pounding veal and seeing all
dope.
3 lines and just chaos. Just absolutely. I can still remember the smell of the kitchen or the way the floor was. And there, even as a little kid. But then as I got older, I'd walk by the place and I'd pop my head in the kitchen and hang out for a half hour. I don't know why. I just did, 12 years old walking by. I'd be like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And they knew who I was because of my dad.
Yeah.
So, I was always in kitchens.
Gotcha. Always hanging out with cooks.
Always with cooks. When I was young, my father would tell me stay away from the night bakers. I never knew why till I became a night baker.
Yeah.
And those are the guys, and I realized, oh, that's the smell of weed, and you stay away from the night bakers,
That's funny.
Yeah,
Bro. I love that. So when did you so you were in high school, were you doing, or in school, I'm sorry, were you doing any sports, anything school related?
I played baseball, Little League baseball and stuff, but no, other than that, once my dad opened his place at 12, it was, you work.
Yeah.
You work.
What was it called?
The Donut and Deli Barn.
The Donut and Deli Barn.
Yeah,
Where was
so it was in Taunton.
Okay.
And it was a donut shop, bakery, and
As I'm talking to you, hold on. As I'm
Your
talking to you
eyes
right now,
just-
there's literally like grapes being poured into this vat right now.
Yeah,
behind
that's
me.
the crushing. They're crushing.
It's pretty fucking awesome. Hold on, I got to take a picture of that. That's fucking nuts.
This
I'm
is
just like this is the coolest setting for a podcast that's ever been. I'm sorry, everybody else, but this is what it is.
This place is a chef's dream. Like,
Yeah,
this place.
it really is.
We're gonna spend a lot of time on this place.
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
get
for
there.
sure,
It's
for sure.
so cool. But yeah, no. So my dad had this place. So he wanted to open like the neighborhood deli where people could go get a pound of meat or a good sandwich. You know, that was kind of going away. And this was like in '86.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm 47, so I've been through the ringer in this game. You know,
yeah.
I've seen the worst of the worst,
Yeah.
and now how it's so different.
Yes.
You know, and so at 12, 13, my father was getting me up at 2 in the morning to go to the bakery before school.
Right.
And I'd go bake and finish donuts before school.
Yeah.
And then still go to school. And then when I was like 14, 15, I was working. Then he like expanded, and it was like a little breakfast line. And I was full work in the line with a 30-year-old toast boy, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like 14, and it was just natural. Like, I don't know if it's like osmosis of growing up in a kitchen.
Yeah.
But it's like, I imagine it's how like a professional athlete knows how to hit a ball. Or,
Yeah.
It's just so natural. Like, I don't know how to do anything. I didn't choose this business. It chose me. Mm-hmm. You know, I was born into it, and it's literally all I know how to do. And I love it. You know? And so it was around it constantly. And I just realized, like, my dad was hard. Like, my dad was hard. Like, replate eggs because they had a thumbprint on the plate.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, and you're at a diner, you know, it's a $4 breakfast.
Yeah.
And, and like, you know, or sit there and bark at you, and if you broke concentration, he's like, why are you not paying attention to the food? Like, cook, you know? I was 14.
Showing like Tiger Woods.
Playing
Symbols behind your back. Like,
that type of shit. Move your hands faster, and there'd be, you know, hot oil coming by, you know, and, you know, you built incredible hand speed, and, you know, and so I really, that's all I knew how to do, you know, and then, you know, my parents got divorced.
Got you.
And my mother's job, you know, she was just in sales, but she had a chance to move up in the company.
Yeah.
She had to move to Indiana. And I was going to be a senior in high school. And I was like, fuck all that. I'm staying with Dad, you know, like, so I stayed with my father, but my father was also a maniac at the time, you know, just like, you know, living his best life and running restaurants and, you know, and everything else. So him and I had a falling out when I was like 17.
I heard.
And I went off on my own.
Okay. Did you move out of Taunton?
No, I stayed in Taunton. I moved in with my aunt till I finished high school, and I worked at this place, Joe's Diner. That was my first paid cooking job.
Heard.
And they had an ad in the paper for a breakfast cook, and I was like, I can do that.
Yeah,
you know,
done that before,
17 years old, but it was the 11 at night to 5 in the morning shift. Downtown, small city. Taunton's a small city.
Yeah.
But all the bars got out at 1 a.m. and you got fucking annihilated.
Yeah.
And it was a diner, you know, metal diner, you know, like, you know, you close your eyes, you picture a diner. That's
Old
what the
school.
place,
Yeah.
You know, you cook behind the counter, except there was shootings and prostitutes and people offering you drugs for more eggs and like just chaos, you know, and you're a 17-year-old kid and you're just cooking your balls off.
Yeah.
Cooking your balls off. And then going to high school.
Yeah.
You know, like finishing your shift and go home, take a shower and go to high school, you know, and finish school. But I went to a Voc Tech and I didn't take culinary. I took culinary freshman year for 1 semester. And how they had it was they had freshmen and juniors. So like the freshmen were like commies to the juniors, you know, in shop. And they had a restaurant in the, you know, in a bakery. And so I went in as a freshman and I was doing all the junior work. And I was like, I'm going to spend the next 4 years doing what I already know. Then you had to take 4 different shops.
Yeah.
And so then I took electricity, and that wasn't really my thing, and metal fab wasn't really my thing. But there was this other thing called industrial maintenance.
Right.
And that was a little bit of everything. You learned electricity, you learned welding, you learned auto repair. And I was like, if I'm going to be a chef and have a restaurant, I need to know how to fix shit.
Yeah.
So even in high school, I had that forward thinking that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to learn how to fix shit. I can't tell you how many times that's come in handy, Dave.
Yeah.
Like, a sink breaks, and like I know how to solder,
Yeah.
like all of that, the safety switch on the RoboCoo goes, well, we can, I can wire that thing and get it, like instead, because sometimes you're in the shit and a repair guy's like, fuck you,
It's Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm not coming out.
Or I'm coming out, but it's going to cost you $400, and you're, so it was like invaluable those 4 years of high school learning that shit.
Yeah.
Like it's made me like a little bit of a handyman, around the kitchen. Especially now I come to the Vineyard where we have a working farm and a full shop. So like stuff is broken here. I'm like, let me at the torch, and they look at you like, what, chef? I'm like, I got it. Like, well, we can fix this. We can fabricate it. We can, and so that like helped a lot, going through high school like that. And then grinding at the restaurant. It was, but I have had zero formal training. No college for cooking. Mm-hmm. The most recent culinary class I think I've taken out of anything is HACCP training for here, to get into retail. But again, just being around cooks and chefs. And it's just been, I've been lucky.
That was the training, yeah.
Yeah, that was, and it's been a constant. I learn now from my staff.
Yeah.
It's just a constant, we don't fail. It's first attempt in learning.
Yeah.
And that's all we do here, and I got lucky. I was at Joe's Diner and grooving along, and I didn't know, like, I never thought this was a career. It's just what I had to do to survive.
Yeah.
I was on my own. I was a 17-year-old kid. I needed a job. I was dating this girl at the time whose brother was a little bit older than me, and she's like, hey, I know a place we can go drinking. And it was this other restaurant called Greg's Country Kitchen.
Yeah.
And you go in the back door of the place, and Greg, the owner's there, and like, he was a place where if you were underage after hours, you could go drink.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I'm like, hey, Greg, I go, you need a hot shot breakfast cook? That's fucking awesome. And he's like, actually, I do. You know one? I said, me. I was 18.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know one? I said, yeah, me. And he said, when can you start? I'm like, you tell me. And he said, come in tomorrow to try out. So I went in the next morning, tried out, and he gave me like $1 more an hour than Joe's, which was like $8 an hour. And it was 93 now at the time.
Gotcha.
And I went to work at Greg's, and I thought I was the shit, because that was the place that like, it was like a family restaurant that we went to as a kid.
Yeah.
But shitty food. Like everything in a microwave. Like I still remember scallop Nantucket was like scallops with like white wine in a casserole dish covered in plastic, microwave for 4 minutes, and then throw some Ritz crumbs on it with breakfast potato seasoning or something.
That's funny.
Slap it under the broiler to brown it, and you thought you were the best, and there was, a 15-well steam table with every veg and Lagoo gravy, but the place was packed.
Yeah.
Packed, and that's what kind of the food was in that area.
Yeah,
and it was cool, and for, because you thought you were cooking. You thought, like, I thought I was really cooking. Mm-hmm. And then I was, like, just barely, I was, like, 18 and a half. I've been at Greg's, like, 6 months, and these two guys came in and said they knew my father. Me and my father totally estranged. Hadn't talked at all. We had a bad falling out when I was 17, and I moved on. But these guys were like, we know who your father is, and you must be as good as him. We want to give you money to open a restaurant. Exactly.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So these two guys gave me, they were car wash guys, and they were young. They were like late 20s, and they owned like 100 apartment buildings and 5 car washes, and they were opening a restaurant next to their car wash, this place called Humpty Dumpty's.
Okay.
And they were like, we want you to open it for us. And it was an empty building. Like they were built, and like there was
nothing in it.
Unlimited resources. Brand new building. They were building, like they were just pouring the foundation and like putting up the steel girders when they brought me there.
Yeah.
And I'm like 18 and a half, and I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I'm like, I got this, sure. And I wrote a menu and bought equipment and fucking did it, and had like the model of my dad's like restaurant, almost like it was a bake shop. Like, so we had a baker and we made donuts, but it was also the model of Joe's Diner where we were open overnight.
Yeah.
And like, so hitting that bar crowd and that, and flipping the menu and jacking everything up $5 a piece for the drunks at night.
For sure.
And jamming that. And I like did, like I was grooving, and like I got my girlfriend a job, and I got her sister's jobs, and, and then one of her sisters started dating one of the owners, and it was like this great thing.
Yeah.
And then I went on vacation. I went to the Indy 500. My mother lived in Indianapolis, and I went to the Indy 500. These guys had bought me this sick truck, and they were like, just pay us back $100 a week, and you can have the truck, and we'll take out your pay. And they were paying me like, all like ridiculous money at, 19 years old, And I went out to the Indy 500, and I hired this guy, who's an older guy, ton more